Hey guys, I was walking around here. I don't know. I just finished a run and was thinking about. By the way, I'm speaking to my traders this morning. If you are a trader or want to be a trader, I wanted to speak to my day traders specifically. And I was thinking, just finished a run and was thinking about how peaceful it is out here. And this is how God wants us to live our lives, right? He wants our activities throughout the course of the day to be a reflection of Him. And God is a God of peace. In fact, one of the one of the first three fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, and peace. I tend to think that peace that's talked about there generally only comes from God. But I got to thinking about my day trading days and whether I thought that they were peaceful or not. And I don't, if I'm being honest, I could not classify any of that as peaceful. So how then, I titled this particular live stream, Stop Day Trading. And that's an extreme idea. But I got thinking about as I was running and as I was experiencing this morning jog and thinking, is this ever going to end? I was listening to a podcast and the guy was talking about our perception of time and how, a great movie can feel like 3 seconds. And when you're running uphill, it can feel like an eternity. And how time, God has given us time honestly, as a tool. One of the things that I am learning when it comes to is using time as a means to accelerate your success. Give yourself a deadline. But time is also a valuable tool in our trading, especially if you are struggling. Y'all, excuse me for a second, I'm going to stop and check the comments. All right. If you are struggling with consistency, if you are struggling with overtrading, if you're struggling with discipline, time is a very valuable tool. I don't know why people pick, well, I think I know why people pick day trading. I know why I picked it as the method of trading that we start with. I think day trading has a better marketing department. It's just kind of what we think of when we think of trading. But when you are struggling to build consistency, when you are struggling to, and if someone's commenting, oh, there we go. Hi. I finally get to see the comments. This is my first phone Instagram live. Usually I'm on my computer and can do other things. So if you're struggling as a trader with consistency, with discipline, and you are day trading, I know most people don't want to give that up because there is some aspect of day trading that speaks to our personality, our not personality, what's the word I'm looking for? Our identity. I am a day trader. But guys, time is such a valuable tool in your trading. And it can lead to this peace, right? The peace that passes all understanding. Philippians 4 says that the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Hi, everybody. Derek and chilling with him. And here's what I mean by that. The more time can, let's go back to that Philippians 4, 6, and 7. By the way, a buddy of mine, one of our members pointed out that we leave out verse 5. 4, 6, and 7 says, be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything. Be anxious for nothing, but in all things. And by the way, as my very favorite pastor up in North Mississippi used to say, all means all, and that is all that all means. So be anxious for nothing, but in all things by prayer and petition. So in other words, should you bring your trading to God? Well, is trading one of the things that you do during the course of a day? Does trading fall into the category of all? Then yeah, bring your trading to God. In all things by prayer and petition, bring them to God. Submit your request to God as if He doesn't already know you need it, right? You want it. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. The peace that's within you is like the battery that runs the force field that protects you and protects itself. And time is an amazing element of that. What do I mean by that? When you're trading, and by the way, when you're trading your plan, in our coaching programs and in my introductory talks to people, I'll do one-on-ones. By the way, if anybody needs to talk, if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to do free one-on-one calls with anybody for any reason, to answer questions, to give you some advice, even if you just need to talk. Anyway, one of the first questions I ask people is, do you have a trade plan? Oh, yeah. Is it written down? Anyway, as you are trading, and as you're trading your plan, your brain needs a certain amount of time to process what's going on. And if you're scalping the 1 minute chart, there's not time there. If you're day trading the 5 minute chart, there's probably not enough time. So the title of this live stream here is Stop Day Trading. If you are struggling with, let's just call it consistency, discipline and consistency. If you're struggling in that, excuse me for putting the, boy, isn't it pretty out here, by the way? It is 100% humidity, and it is 9 degrees right now, and it is a glorious Mississippi morning. Anyway, if you're struggling with consistency and you're a day trader, I think one of the best tools that you can put in your tool belt is time. What do I mean by that? Allow time to create a buffer between your decision making and your execution. Look at your charts. Look at what your trade plan says. Be thorough. The other day, look, I'm a swing trader. I trade for 15 minutes every single day at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I close my platform and I don't think about it. The other day, I was in a hurry. It was last Friday, and we were actually leaving to go out of town at like 2:30. This is an hour before my normal trading time, so I said, okay, I'm gonna trade earlier than normal. Trade at 2 o'clock. But I had to pack it, so I was in a hurry, and I entered a trade that I rushed the setup on. I didn't take the time to thoroughly look at all the things. Now, I like to blame things on the fact that I'm old and I need reading glasses, but I didn't take the time I needed, and as a result, I took a trade that I shouldn't have. Was it breaking a rule? Look, guys, they're going to make mistakes, right? I make a very clear distinction between when you're struggling with discipline. Was it a mistake, or did you break a rule? What's the difference? I've clicked the wrong button. I've traded on my phone and fat-fingered the wrong pair, the wrong direction, the wrong side. Mistakes happen. Was this a mistake, or did I intentionally break a rule, or did I say, you know what, let me just see what happens? That's breaking a rule. This was a mistake. But I didn't take the time. So if you're day trading, do your setup. All right, let me just put a pin in that thought right for a second. If you're day trading and you're struggling, and most of the people that I run into, by the way, who are struggling are day trading. Not all, but most. They're struggling and they've started out day trading. Be willing to switch to a higher time frame of trading. Be willing to switch to swing trading, whatever swing trading means to you. Go to the 1 hour chart. Go to the 4 hour chart. Just do it for a week and see if that doesn't bring you the peace that passes all understanding. Well, that was a fast spin. Sorry about that. Somebody is commenting in script that is not English or not Arabic letters, Latin letters, so I can't respond to that. Be willing to lay down that identity of day trading. Step out in faith for a week just to see if you can have peace. Do your setups as per your plan. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to see what happens. And then send that. That's what swing trading is. That's what using a limit order is. You do your setup and you send it to your broker, and whatever happens, happens. And you place a barrier of time between you making the decision and you executing that decision. And what does that do? That prevents you from making an emotional decision. If you're scalping, if you're day trading, you've got to make lots of decisions very quickly. And there is no way to avoid emotions playing a part. Over trading and revenge trading happen because we are in the moment, and we're not only making a decision about a trade in the moment, we're acting on that decision in the moment. So separate those two actions. Separate the decision and the execution with a barrier of time, even if it's 10 minutes. Do your trade setup, walk away, and then come back and click the button. But let time do its magic. But I would say, and I used to say this to my boys all the time. If you're struggling with consistency, you think trading, I'm just never going to be successful. Let me just point out a statement that's, I don't know who said it originally. If nothing changes, nothing's going to change. And you're like, well, that's an obvious statement. Yeah, I know. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, well, we all know what that's a definition of. But here's the thing. Consistency. The definition of consistency is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. And isn't that what you want? Isn't that, as a trader, as someone who feels a calling to trading from God, isn't that what you want? You want to be able to sit down at your computer every day and have the same kind of results. So I would say absolutely be willing to change just for a little bit. If you're struggling, what's your outlook for next week? You think, well, I'm going to try it again next week. I'm going to go ahead and day trade again next week, but I'm probably going to have the same kind of result I had this week. Well, if you know that already, then why not be willing to try something different? Try trading the 1 hour chart. Try trading the 4 hour chart. Try trading the daily chart. Just for a week, just to give you that peace. Just to give you the peace that you can say, you know what? I didn't have any setups today, but I'm okay with that. I had one trade today and it did its thing. I was in it and I felt good about it. Just allow time, allow the peace of God access to you through time. That buffer of time between your execution and your decision making, that is where you are leaving yourself available for the Holy Spirit to provide you with peace. Because that's what you're doing, right? You're stepping out in faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, as the writer of Hebrews tells us. And that's what you're doing in trading. You have this evidence of things not seen. I've got this plan, I got this system, and by and large, it should do this. I can't prove it until after the fact. So it's a hope, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. So you're stepping out in faith when you do a trade setup and you release it into the wild and let it do its thing. You're stepping out in faith. And that's what God, He wants us to trust Him. He gave us the creativity to create a system. He wants us to leave the results with Him. So if you are struggling with your consistency, if you really would just love to be disciplined, be willing to make a change. Be willing to say, I'm going to stop day trading for a week. I'm willing to try something different for 1 week and see, not if I have better results, not if I make more money, see if I have more peace. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, is peace. So thank you guys for joining me on an impromptu live stream, and I will see y'all next time. I have no idea how to stop this. Where's the button to stop it? Is it the X? We'll see what happens.